Hey, welcome back to Mask Monday. I'm Shelly Moth, and today we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, Hammer horror. Okay, so Hammer Film Productions started in 1934. They made all different kinds of movies, but they're definitely most known for their gothic horror revival films, just known as Hammer horror. They were kind of like Universal monster exploitation films, and they were really awesome just because they were reimaginings of the monster stories that we love, but in full color and full British. And also it was really fun that almost all the movies were made by a pretty small group of the same people, same filmmakers, same actors, and you can just tell that there was a lot of love put into these movies. So let's see how much love Trick or Treat Studios put into these masks. All right, so this mask is from 1957's The Curse of Frankenstein. It's Christopher Lee as the creature or the monster. I've been waiting for someone to make an awesome Christopher Lee as the Frankenstein monster mask for a really long time, and I'm really happy that Russ Lukic was the one to sculpt it. He's the perfect person to make that for Trick or Treat Studios. It has sewn-in hair, which is also really cool, and that dead eye, and again, the paint job is really cool on it. You know, you get the pink and the green in there. It looked different in different scenes of the movie. Speaking of that, Phil Leakey did the makeup for this movie. He had very little time to design it or apply it, very little money as well, and with those limitations I think he did a really amazing job. In fact, the final design was created like the day before they started shooting, and again, I'm just really happy that this is the way that it turned out. And the performance by Christopher Lee is just incredible, and I love all the Frankenstein movies from Hammer Horror, but again, Curse of Frankenstein is just my favorite. It's just a very special one. This was the only film that Christopher Lee played the Frankenstein monster, but he played Dracula 7 times for Hammer Horror, so let's take a look at that mask. All right, so now we have here Christopher Lee as Dracula, the role that he's more synonymous with. This was also sculpted by Russ Lukic, and his talent's really shining here. Russ is amazing at getting a likeness of someone in a mask, and this looks exactly like Christopher Lee as Dracula. Another cool thing about the mask is the expression. Usually when you sculpt a mask, you do a pretty neutral expression, but you just had to do that iconic look with showing the teeth and the blood coming out. I mean, how could you not sculpt it like that for Christopher Lee? That image is just iconic. So he did a really great job with it. I also love the 2 tones in the hair. There's like black with some like white gray streaks, and just works really well. The paint job on it's very nice, so you get a good look at the eye, and it's a lot of fun. I really like this mask. We have one more Christopher Lee horror monster. We have one more Christopher Lee Hammer horror monster to show you, so let's take a look at the Mummy. Christopher Lee is back, this time as the Mummy. It's a completely new take on the Mummy, and I really love the design of this monster. Jasper Anderson, the sculptor of the Trick or Treat Studios mask, put the bandage actually sculpted in, and it just came out really awesome. Very gravelly and dirty and nasty, and again, Jasper Anderson sculpted it bandage into the ear. It's not an ear, it's a neck. I just think it's fun. Christopher Lee did so many of these movies. Just like the Universal Monsters movies, they use a lot of the same actors, same filmmakers, and they just all have a good vibe that all goes together. And I just can't wait till they actually do a collection of every single Hammer horror movie so I can sit down and watch every single one, because they're kind of hard to find. Make it happen, someone. So that wraps up Christopher Lee. Let's go look at someone else's. All right, so that wraps things up for Christopher Lee. Let's take a look at someone else's face. All right, Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. Another one of my all-time favorite Frankenstein films. It was the last in a series of the Hammer Horror Frankenstein movies, and I think with The Curse of Frankenstein, they make really good bookends together. It's sculpted by Eric Labadie. He has been making really cool masks for a long time, and he was a student of Dick Smith, the godfather of special makeup effects. You can see he didn't do eyes in the mask, and that's because the makeup in the film wasn't really a makeup. It was a mask that looked exactly like this one, and a pretty obvious like long sleeve t-shirt with fur glued to it. But it worked really well, especially for the time, and again, these movies were made really fast with like not a lot of money. That's one of the fun things about the Trick or Treat Studios mask is obviously Eric didn't sculpt in eyes because it kind of makes it feel like a prop from the movie. It's not like, you know, a mask replicating a makeup, but really just a mask replicating a mask. The portrayal of the monster was played by David Prowse. This is my favorite performance that he's ever done, and I know that he said in interviews he was most proud of this one, and if you watch the movie you can see why. I love the hair on this mask too. You get a beard and then the hair goes around the bottom. They did a really great job with putting the stitching in there and the hair going around, and it's just an awesome job. And the next mask has some really cool hair too, so let's take a look at her. So last but certainly not least is going to be the reptile from the film The Reptile. That's it. This film is very different than all the other ones we talked about today. In fact, it's the only one that wasn't directed by Terrence Fisher. Another big difference is it's not based on like a classic Universal monster. It's an all-original story with an original character and design. This pretty lady here was sculpted by Chris Williams. And yes, I said lady. One of the coolest parts about this mask is it's based on a female monster, which are few and far between, and I certainly hope we see more female monsters and female monster masks. Of course, the main one that I want to see is Elsa Lancaster as Frankenstein's bride. That being said, I'm in love with this mask. Pulled it off very well. It's one of my favorite monster designs of all time. It's got a lot of hair. I was asked by a few customers, like, why does he have a man bun? I'm like, she doesn't, you know, she's just got a ponytail. It doesn't come with a neck, but I don't really think that you need one. I love this shape, the pull of it, and these scales. The green is just a perfect green. I love these fangs here, really scary, and those bulging eyes with those like target pupils. Very iconic, very classic, looks just like the movie, and that's the reptile. All right, so that does it for this week's Mask Monday. I'm really stoked that we got to talk about Hammer Horror. Let us know in the comments what other Hammer Horror monsters you'd like to see turned into masks, as well as any other female masks that you'd like to see made. Go to nightmaretoys.com or come visit us in Las Vegas, Nevada. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.